4 Questions, 16 Answers is a compilation of 4 interviews with Aaron L. Levitt Social Entrepreneurship Challenge Changemakers. This video debuted at the 2020 Virtual Levitt Social Entrepreneurship Challenge Changemaker event. It was shown immediately after the presentations and before Changemakers were announced, and thus the first question concerning how it felt in that moment for the presenters. I would like to introduce the 4 Changemakers starring in this video and provide you a little background and context to their responses. Natasha Kirsch founded EPIC, Empowering the Parent to Empower the Child, with the pilot program, The Grooming Project. The Grooming Project is devoted to helping impoverished families become self-reliant through job training in the high-demand, high-pay trade of pet grooming. The Grooming Project's education-based approach not only financially empowers single parents in poverty through equipping them with the credentials in a competitive market, but it also ensures that they focus on improving their family's future as a whole through parenting and budgeting classes, mental health support, life skills courses, and other needed medical services coordinated with many local organizations. Dog grooming is an in-demand career in the Kansas City area. Groomers make an annual salary ranging from $35,000 to $70,000. Additionally, grooming is a profession in which individuals with many of the barriers to stable employment, including past addiction, criminal records, and incomplete education, can find employment. Upon completion of the 6-month grooming training, students can work in one of the area's 200 pet salons or even start their own grooming business. Canby's Markets is a nonprofit organization working to eliminate food deserts or areas without consistent access to fresh, healthy, and affordable food in Kansas City. Typically, Canby's would do this by partnering with small mom and pop corner markets to help them sell fresh produce. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, Canby's has shifted a bit to using their resources and experience in a variety of ways to get as much food as possible into the community. This includes delivering produce to roughly 50 other community organizations, direct home delivery, providing a space for composting organizations to park their trucks, farmers to pack CSA boxes, and the Chef Collective to produce hot meals that can be distributed throughout the community. Founder Max Caniger says, "It has been a bit of a transition, but the focus remains on getting food where it is needed." Kyle Smith is the founder of Determination Incorporated. Determination Incorporated creates a pathway to opportunity for formerly incarcerated people through entrepreneurship. Determination Incorporated hosts business basics workshops and an entrepreneurship competition, Rise Up, for formerly and currently incarcerated people. Strategic Workforce Development is a first in Kansas City, providing community workforce services and a job institution. Strategic Workforce Development has strategically aligned workforce services and is a job institution with focused construction and trades training, career skills and certifications, social survival skills, job development, recruitment, employment, and job fairs. Founder York Wilson says, "Strategic Workforce Development serves anyone that comes through the door, looking for jobs and needs employment services. But targeted candidates are the re-entry, disenfranchised, and the discouraged populations of the Kansas City Metro."
Absolutely. I hope the presenters first are just feeling a huge sense of relief. They've made it this far. They put all this work into their presentation. They put all this work into their organization and toward reaching their goals. So I hope they're just breathing easy. Of course, a little bit nervous about what they're going to hear from the judges, but more than anything, excited to connect with everyone in the room who's also passionate about solving the problem that they've set out to solve. So I hope they're feeling good and they're proud of their hard work.
I mean, you're feeling nervous, but if you actually have the experience of giving presentations, you actually go up there with confidence and knowing that you're going to win. And so, as I said, I told Cynthia, and she knew it. Like, I already knew I was going to win. There was no actual doubting that SWD was going to win that competition and be a change maker. It was more of the conviction.
So I just presented. I think I was relieved after I presented because I was so nervous when I got there that I actually that morning spent an hour just screaming at the top of my lungs in my house because I was so nervous to present. And then we got done and I was really happy because I thought I did okay. And Jim Fisher, my partner, was so nervous. He was red and sweating, and I knew that I did better than he did. So I was just happy.
Yeah, I finished my presentation for the Levitt Challenge. One, I felt a huge sense of relief, like you do after giving a big presentation like that, but also having that little voice in the back of my head, kind of whispering, letting me know all the places I messed up, and nagging at me. But I think the biggest thing I felt was just this kind of joy and excitement, getting to see all of the classmates I had at the time get through their presentations, and that we had accomplished that together.
I think I realized that Determination Incorporated were work, that our mission was worth pursuing when I started to meet folks coming home from prison who were interested in entrepreneurship. And we just sat and chatted about what their business goals were. And then the next time that we sat down and chatted about their business goals, they'd actually taken steps in that direction and felt like because they had more support and guidance that they were able to do that faster and with more confidence. And I've also heartened every time I hear the story of a second chance entrepreneur who's put in all the work to figure out how to get their business started. And now they're able to reach some of their more longer term goals, like hiring other people who are coming home from incarceration, or helping to support people in their community who need a second chance and need an opportunity to work and to make the most of what they want to do. And I think when I hear the stories of second chance entrepreneurs, all the way from the idea phase to those who are now running successful businesses, that's when I'm heartened that we're on the right path and we're doing good work.
Go make it, basically, when I woke up. So I got a theory. I mean, I got to say it. It's like when you want to take over an island, you basically burn all the boats. And so there was no coming back once me and my co-founder, shout out to Anju Gary, was a big help in this. There was no coming back once we set up our 501c3 to actually start this company. Because one of the biggest things was that we had an opportunity when I left my last job to actually get some funding allocated to us to actually start a program. There was never in my vision that I was going to start my own nonprofit, things like that. I wanted to work at a nonprofit, work my career up, this and that. And so when that opportunity came along, I knew that it was going to be difficult, but in my mind and my vision, I knew that we were going to make it, because one of the biggest things that pushed me to make it and being successful, which we have a long way to go, was the haters. Was the people saying that you're not going to make it. When I'm talking to you, you try to put me in the category of your previous experience with the we call them people one-hit wonders. With the one-hit wonder people that came through, or the people that said they had a training program, and you want to compare me to them. And I know that our vision and what we're doing is actually the glitch and the shortcomings that I've seen in other organizations. And so actually taking a for-profit model and implementing it to a nonprofit and functioning like that is actually one of the things that have been played to our advantage and basically move it up forward in life. But I've been knowing I was going to make it.
I mean, I think the first time I really felt like that was, it was after I had, we became Changemaker with the Levitt Challenge. It was about 8 months after that, because I had been working with one of my mentors at the church, and I was ready to give up, and he didn't know that, but he called me out of the blue one day and said, this is a really good idea. And I said, Doc, we've been working on this for 8 months now. Why is this a good idea now? And he said, well, I finally read that business plan that you wrote. And I think it was then that I knew, okay, if I finally got his buy-in on this, then I think it might actually work.
I knew that Candies was going to make it and become a real thing about halfway through the first class with the Levitt program. Just the whole group of teachers that were there to support us and guide us through, and the curriculum I saw planned out for the weeks ahead, I felt really confident that Canvas was going to become a real thing, and I get to see my dream kind of come to life.
Each week in our High Five Thursday newsletter, we feature stories of second chance entrepreneurs who are figuring their business out and working toward their goals. And every time I send one of those out and we get replies from the community, hey, how can I help? Or how do I do business with this person? Or how do I find out more about what so-and-so is up to? That's when I know that we've been successful. Right now, we're actually in the midst of an entrepreneurship competition as well that we call Rise Up, Get Started. And we're featuring the stories and having conversations with two second chance entrepreneurs. One of them is a gentleman named Aaron Smith up in Chicago who hosts a podcast called Escaping the Odds, where he interviews second chance entrepreneurs around the nation, showing that this is a thing, that entrepreneurship is an option for folks coming home from incarceration. And the second chance entrepreneur is a local gal, Sarah Muntean, who runs a business called All American Construction Contractors. And she started her business soon after getting out of prison, when everyone around her was telling her, Sarah, you've never done this before. You don't know how to do this. You can't do this. And she said, no, I will do this, and I will figure this out. And she did, to the extent that she's had multiple years and her almost a decade of running her business, where they've done hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue. And I think more important to her, not to put words in her mouth, but they're regularly able to hire folks and put people to work who are currently dealing with substance abuse issues and trying to work out of their own rock bottom. And I think that's really the magic sauce, if you will, of why this works, is because people who have been there, done that, are able to give back to the community and help other people follow in their path. And when I hear those stories of second chance entrepreneurs thriving, that's when I know we're on to something.
It's our students, because, and it's what I love is that they work so hard to be here, and that this is it's almost like they think of it as like a privilege to be here. And we'll have people that will ride on the bus for 2.5 hours every morning and every night, and that's dropping off 3 kids at childcare on the way to and from. And to me, to watch other people try that hard for something that I had a part in putting together and creating, is just really cool. So that's probably the thing I'm most proud of.
The thing I'm most proud of, I guess, right now is my team. In the past few weeks, we've kind of transitioned how we do what we do in trying to use our resources to the best of our ability, and that meant growing from distributing about 6,000 to 8,000 pounds a week to now doing about 100,000 pounds a week in fresh produce, all with the same size team. And that meant they've all been working a lot of hours and putting in the time, but the feedback we've gotten from the community and getting to hear the thousands now of people that we've helped get food to has made it all worth it. And seeing how my team has kind of rallied around that and stayed focused on the mission has made me really proud.
We did a lot of things. Like we have employed over 300 people, literally. I actually counted this, okay? I counted this. I went through my statistics and everything. It took me 10 hours to come up with this. We actually employed around 300 people through our last 2 years of being in business. We have actually did our first training class. In our first training class, we actually had the best numbers. So listen, there were 4 other people on the We Owe funding grant through FEC. They all have a track record, been around for the last 10 years, et cetera, et cetera. SWD came in out of nowhere. Everybody's looking like, hey, we're not gonna meet our deliverables, this and that. And we actually had the best numbers out of everybody, which I already knew that. When basically Mr. McQueen told me that, he told me, I already knew that. Like, you telling me something I already knew. But that was a good moment when actually just hearing that from him. Also, the people, like this some of the people say, hey, you changed our lives. Like I remember I had a guy, Ryan, I think his name is. I forgot his last name. Ryan just texted me one day out the blue, like, hey, bro, even though I haven't talked to you, this and that, I got him hired with the Painters Union too. And so he's doing glazing. So glazing and painting coincide with each other. And so he was like, hey, even though I ain't heard from you, this or that, bro, I learned a lot in the class. Thank you for the opportunity. You actually really helped me change my life. So that made me feel good. You know, when you hear things like that from people, it lets you know that that SWD is actually sticking with his vision, where opportunity meets potential. And so that made me feel good. And just recently, I got a guy hired on at the airport making $32 an hour with full benefits. He got directly into the Teamsters union without going through any training or nothing, hired on directly. And so those are just a few highlights of SWD success stories.
Right now, we're in the midst of our third Rise Up, Get Started entrepreneurship competition. That's Kansas City's first business grant competition for formerly incarcerated people. So when you get off this Zoom, go find us on Facebook at Determination Incorporated and see who won our competition as well. After this, we're going to go into a season of listening, which I think is really important to learn what our entrepreneurs need, where they're at, and how we can best support them in the coming months. And so myself and my teammate, Leslie Walton, our Entrepreneur Success Manager, are going to take the foot off the gas pedal for just a little bit and really learn by talking to the people that we serve how our burgeoning entrepreneurial support community can best help those folks. And we're also starting to have conversations within the organization and with partners all around the community about starting a social enterprise business, a business that can exist to make a profit, but more importantly, to make a purpose, to help more folks get a second chance and help more folks reach their full potential through entrepreneurship.
Well, shoot, we're changing with the times. So we got a drive-through job fair coming up real soon. I'm still going to implement giving away the card that we said the last one, and we're just going to go from there. So as of right now, that's what I got. I'm trying to get something on the calendar right now to execute that. It's going to be kind of difficult because if anybody knows anything about having events outside, you can never control the weather. So I'm gonna have it on the hottest day. We gotta do some research right now. Look at the hottest day every year for the last 50 years. Yeah, so the drive-through coming up, and then after that, we have another job fair on the calendar. I don't know if we're gonna have it on October the 15th at MCC Penn Valley. And once we're able to figure out the actual regulations that we're moving forward when it comes to training and in-class training, we will actually start working backwards and putting something on the calendar. But job fair coming soon.
Great.
So this year we're still, we're back in business. It's been really busy around here. We're booked out until August right now for grooming at the school, and we're booked out about a month at the salon in Lee Summit. But we're also building dorms at 60001 Truce, so about a block down the street for our homeless families. Construction has started. That should be done by the end of this year. And then we've also started working with a national funder on our licensing agreement. We're trying to set ourselves up kind of like a social franchise. So we hope that that will be done by the end of this year as well. And hopefully we'll have all of our policies and procedures. I guess we'd never have them all complete, but in pretty good working shape that we can start to look at opening up in another city.
Hopefully is a bit of peace and quiet, a little calm, because it has, like I said, there's been a lot of really fast growth. And because of that, I always worry that we're not doing things to the best of our abilities. And so I would really like to spend the next few months pausing that growth and just focusing on doing the things we do really well, so that we can make sure that while we as an organization have been able to grow, I don't want the people in the community to suffer. And so I want to make sure that what we're doing stays focused on them. And that's really all our plan for what's happening now and going forward. I just want to wish all the future change makers a lot of luck. I know it was hard getting to where you are now, and you've put in a lot of good work, and I'm excited to see where these all go.